Interesting. I do hope his helmet's up to the job. Anyway, something different today. I've had a fiddle with the format. I'm going to put the science bit first and the chat box travels, etc. to the end. Let me know what you think. You might not like it. But I do recommend watching this week's chat box travels. It's going to be one of my favourites. It starts at about the 8-ish minute mark. So skip to that if you get bored in the early bit. Anyway, Monday night, me and Simon Dan are going to be doing a live stream on his channel. But we've been trumped. D Marble and Dell, they know what we're doing and they've done a live stream themselves. They did it last night, showcasing everything they know about science and physics. If you missed it though, don't worry, I've recorded it. Here it is.
Boom, boom, boom.
So let's get into it. Chemtrails. This is the #1 YouTube recommended video when it comes to chemtrails, so you know it's going to be serious stuff.
When my kids were little, I used to read to them from Alice in Wonderland. And I remember we learned that the Mad Hatter was mad.
Nothing gets past her.
And that was in the 70s and 80s that I
Must have been a long book.
had my young kids. And I, at the same time, was learning that we were supposed to avoid using aluminum pots and pans because there was apparently a connection to autism.
Now, her saying this is a little bit understandable. It is true that extremely high levels of aluminium will cause cognitive development problems, neurological problems, and a whole range of health issues in extremely high amounts. But cooking in pots and pans is perfectly safe. The misconception comes about due to the fact that aluminium salts will embed themselves and collect in degenerated and damaged tissue. So, for example, somebody with Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's isn't caused by aluminium, but the damage caused by the Alzheimer and the degeneration caused by the Alzheimer's means that aluminium salts will collect in the brain of the people suffering from it. Now, the same is true with coronary heart disease. That's not caused by aluminium, but people who've got coronary heart disease have more aluminium salts collected in the heart. So it's not the cause, but I do understand why she might have said that.
So that was the first time for me that I made any connection between heavy metals and human health. And then a few years ago, I learned that there was an unnatural amount of aluminum in the soil.
No, you learned that there was a high percentage of aluminium in the Earth's crust. About 7 or 8% of the Earth's crust is made of aluminium. Anytime you test soil or the Earth, you're going to find aluminium. It's just the way it is.
And that there was a program spraying aluminum and other heavy metals up into the atmosphere. And so I wanted to check it out. Basically, chemtrails is a geoengineering program where airplanes fly at high altitudes and they spray chemicals into the atmosphere, including aluminum, barium, and strontium.
Now, this is where things start to unravel a little bit for her. You see, there literally is no evidence, and I have looked and looked and looked for increased levels of those 3 metals in the soil or in the atmosphere. And if they were in the atmosphere, well, barium, that can cause respiratory problems and gastrointestinal problems. Diarrhea is a massive side effect. Now, unless you're walking around surrounded by people wearing rubber underpants, there's probably not a high level of barium in the air. Strontium itself is a medication. It helps bone growth. Now, very, very, very high levels of it, again, can have serious side effects, but we're not detecting those high levels. Let's move on.
And they spray chemicals into the atmosphere, including aluminum, barium, and strontium.
Now, this part of the video is a little bit dishonest. What we're seeing there is what we call a fuel dump. Now, I'm no pilot, but it took me about 10 seconds to Google that when planes are landing and the pilot feels that the plane might be a little bit too heavy for a safe landing, they jettison the fuel in this manner and they call it a fuel dump. This is not a chemtrail.
Many people confuse chemtrails with the normal jet contrails. The difference is that the normal jet contrails actually dissipate within minutes, while the heavy metals in the chemtrails cause those trails to persist for hours.
So again, this clip is a little bit dishonest. Yes, these 2 trails do appear to be dissipating at different rates, but they are also at vastly different altitudes. And the factors that affect how fast a contrail dissipates are humidity levels and temperature, which, surprise, surprise, are very, very different at different altitudes. This is exactly what we would expect.
That ain't right.
What would you know?
So, if you're not educated about this issue, I encourage you to do some basic research.
And we are about to find out right now that she has done absolutely no research. Let's ask her. Lady, what do you think people think the reasons are for chemtrails?
For some, it might be that they think that this is a benevolent weather modification program, like putting snow on ski slopes in a bad season, but that it's inadvertently having some negative health impacts.
Okay, so that's definitely the reason, yeah?
Somebody else might think that the so-called solar radiation management is backfiring because the supposed idea is that you blanket the sky with these heavy metals and it reflects the sun back to itself.
Okay, so which one is it?
Somebody else might think that it's a corporate agenda to get an upper hand on commodities trading by being able to control and therefore predict the weather.
Are you just making stuff up at this point?
Somebody else might just think it's a very sinister plan to sicken people and further control our food supply. The point is that there are any number of concerns no matter what belief system motivates you.
No, the point is you don't know what they're doing, you don't know why they're doing it. I'm in. Sounds great. How can I help?
So here are some things that you could be focused on right now, and you can come up with others on your own. You could map out the whole chemtrail network and see who's doing what.
Okay, see who's doing what. Mm-hmm.
You could research the most credible information on what companies are supplying the planes.
Okay, do all your research for you, you lazy.
You could check out the health impacts on humans, on the soil, on food, on water.
Health impacts, we've done that one.
You could draw a poster.
Oh, I've done that.
You could write a song like...
Oh, hey, I've just been writing a song about chemtrails. Check it out. Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, they come out of a plane and they come out of my penis. So essentially, she doesn't know what chemtrails are, she doesn't know what they're there for, she's done absolutely no research, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she's a #1 hit on YouTube when you type in chemtrails. Nathan Oakley, buddy, there is hope for you yet, man. Anyway, I should have talked about this picture. It's a wingtip vortex. The difference in pressure as the wingtip pushes through the air causes condensation and a chemtrail to appear behind it. Chatbox travels.
You know this person's a liar. You just gonna keep believing him or what?
He's right. I'm a government shill.
Down at the bottom of the floor, among the birds and the bees, I live a lot of little people.
Yeah, I know. I like the littlest hobo too, but all good things have got to come to an end. Tased him. Mr. Butterfly. Alright, bye. Today's Chatbox Travels is a special one. This guy, he's been trying to get in for a long time.
My name's Dean Wright.
Hello, Dean Wright. Tell me some of your history on YouTube.
I put videos out and stuff like that, and the usual arrogant, ignorant, abusive.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
I know.
I don't want to get. It's boring, isn't it?
Yes, well said, Dean Wright. All you did was make your own videos. Why should you have to put up with abuse on the internet? It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it's all about egos, surely.
Everything's wrapped around his ego, and as an ex-Buddhist monk, we were taught about the ego and the problems with the ego.
Exactly. We just need to be relaxed and have fun. It's all a bit of cheeky banter. I can see you have no ego at all, do you, Dean?
And look at me, I'm very nice. Or look at. I mean, I worked in fashion for years, man.
Fair enough. So, Dean, you're a chilled out guy that doesn't like abusive messages on the internet. Let's have a look at some of your comments on my channel.
Listen, mate, space, comma. You shouldn't do that. Let's face it, you're an idiot who is trying to gain some kind of prominence off the back of flat Earth. But let's face it, you're just showing yourself to be a dunderhead with... I'm not using as much punctuation as I should. With your whiteboard and your bulk marker. I think he means black marker, I think. Drawing cartoons and trying to make people believe... Spoke wrong. in science fiction with no proof of anything, you sad clown.
Ooh, we do act different behind the keyboard, don't we? And he didn't stop there.
Uke now! That wasn't a mistake either. I invent my own language. Uke now! What was really funny? Space, comma. I defy the laws of English. It was when Nathan, without a capital N, made another video highlighting your stupidity. Blah, blah, blah. Forget it. I love Nathan. Nathan, if you're watching, I love you. Nathan, I love you. I want to have your babies. Nathan, I love you. I'm done now.
So clearly Dean is one of Nathan's special fans. Now, I informed Dean that when I was on Nathan's show, he hit the mute button, so I couldn't talk. There's no debate if somebody can't talk because the other person's hitting the mute button, which is why I left. But Dean wasn't having that. Not at all.
No! Space, comma again. That is not the point I was making. Stop obfuscating. I will remind you yet again. I've hit the caps button. You had your ass handed to you again. Come back on the hangout. It's always nice to see a retard make an absolute fool of himself. Space, comma. Brilliant.
I can understand now why there were so many abusive arguments on his channel. He caused them.
Really? Well, I didn't put a space in front of the comma that time. That is interesting, seeing that I take the piss out of you continuously. Spelled wrong. And I will continue to do so every opportunity. No space, comma, no space. You, such easy prey. It's a bit off, that bit. And always good for a laugh, Sean. I don't know why he's calling me Sean either.
So, Dean, you've made it onto my shelf of shame. Thank you, Rob. You know who you are for naming it that. Dean, this is you. And you can come down from my shelf of shame when you actually start making videos of your own instead of duplicating everybody else's. Then you put some scientific content in there. And when you stop being such a naughty boy in the comment section, Dean, see you around, pal.
Now, if you want this all to go away, you can. You can make it disappear instantly. Just stick your tail between your bitch legs and fuck off.
Looks like he's taken no time to settle in at all. But before I'm done with him, let's say something positive. He's got some amazing anecdotes and stories to tell. He's the master of old sayings. Here's one of his now.
Do you know, there's a great saying, I can't remember who it is, why it says, it's not about how we've been told a lie, but it's because we've bought the lie.
All right, Dean, you probably didn't do a good job with that one. Try again. Tell us another.
There's an old Japanese saying that the higher you put if you were a nail, the higher the nail, the chances it's going to get hit first. So you keep the lowest nail. Yeah.
Right, so this comment was left on my video where I discussed can rockets work in the vacuum of space, and we showed a can of soda bursting inside a vacuum and then acting like a rocket because of a change of momentum of the liquid, producing a change of momentum in the can. Perry Black is asking, at the point of the release, was it a perfect vacuum? Could there still have been some air in the container? I'm sure you can read the rest of the comment yourself.
So that's a really good question. And the answer is no, it would not have been a perfect vacuum. There would have been some atoms of gas floating around in there. However, ask yourself this. When you look at the motion of that can in that vacuum chamber, albeit not a perfect vacuum, is it any different to when you recreate that experiment outside the vacuum chamber? And not even with a Coke can, but if you do water launch rockets, etc., we get the same motion. And that says to me that the medium of air, that's not important.
Simon Dan tells us crap. His arguments flat. He doesn't know Jack. And conspiracy cats doesn't know Jack.
So this is how I wanted to end today's video. This is rapppid. He's done a flat earth ballad naming myself, Simon Dan, and Flat Out. Now, if you're not familiar with Flat Out, it's a flat earth channel, but it is hilarious. I'm going to link it in the description. You've got to watch it. The guy is a legend. I've been in contact recently with him, and he's a really good guy. So check out his channel. Please subscribe to him. He's brilliant. Please check out rapppid. This is a ballad, a flat earth ballad, but he's also got more serious stuff on there. And, you know, he's not got many subscribers. He deserves loads more. I will be back on Monday on Simon Dan's channel. And then maybe on Tuesday morning on my own. But it might be next Saturday, depending on how busy I am. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. And let me know what you think of the new format. Should I put the science first? Should I put it at the end? I don't know. What do you think, Dean?
Ooh, I haven't got any answers.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you made it to the end, feel free to let me know by telling me my head looks like the top of a gear stick. Now, back to the uke. There's nothing else, just me doing this. Seriously. Got out of time then. I'm literally not doing anything else but this. I'm going to go again. If you're watching, you need to turn it off now. I'm not doing anything else but this. Need to turn off. Why are you still watching? Now, if you made it this far, just call me a shitface.